Hey guys, today we'll do the unboxing and overview of the GPD Win Mini. So this is the newest gaming handheld that GPD has come out with. GPD is a Chinese company that's well known for making netbooks, which is like basically pocket computers, and they make gaming handhelds. But they actually focus on the smaller gaming handhelds. So if you guys know the Steam Deck, right, that's a very popular gaming handheld out right now, plays PC games. GPD actually was making these PC gaming handhelds well before the Steam Deck, and they also tend to make them smaller as well. So they tend to be a lot smaller than the Steam Deck. So yeah, I actually have been buying GPD devices all the way since, back in 2016 when I first bought the GPD Pocket. And then I bought the Pocket 2 as well, and I got the Pocket 3 right now as well. And for the Win series, which is basically their more gaming-oriented series, I bought the very first GPD Win back in 2016, but also the GPD Win 2, which was one of my favorites as well because it was quite small, and it was very capable. And GPD Win 3 and the GPD Win 4. But the thing is, with the GPD Win 3 and Win 4, GPD really changed the form factor a lot. So the GPD Win 2 was like a clamshell design where it kind of just, you open up the lid, it's like this really small laptop with gaming controls on it. And with the Win 3, they completely changed the design to be more like a Sony Vaio UX style, which has like a slide-up display. So because of that, some people, including me, have actually wanted to go back to the GPD Win 2 style, the clamshell design. Because it's cool to get the Vaio UX style, you know, I've always kind of wanted to have a design like that. So for the Win 3 and Win 4, that was very cool. But kind of also wanted to go back to that clamshell design again. So I think that's what GPD was thinking when they made the GPD Win Mini, because this essentially goes back to the GPD Win 2 style with the design of the Win 2 or the Win Max. So the Win Max was basically just a larger, kind of like the netbook style, but with gaming controls. So anyways, the Win Mini, I believe, goes back to the GPD Win 2 style, which is something I wanted to have as well. So I bought this from Indiegogo, which is basically how GPD funds their campaigns, and I got this for $700 equivalent US. And this is the version with the AMD Ryzen 7 7640U and 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD, and it has an ergonomic grip. So this one also comes with this ergonomic grip as well. So yeah, because I kind of just wanted to have another gaming handheld that's more like the GPD Win 2. And unfortunately, I don't have the GPD Win 2 with me anymore. I kind of sold it a while back. But yeah, I just want to have one handheld that's more like the GPD Win 4 style, which I do have on hand, by the way. This is GPD Win 4, but it's very different from the older GPD Wins, like the GPD 1 and 2. So I do want to have one handheld like this, because this is a pretty cool style. It has this slide-up display. You can see a QWERTY keyboard, right? So this is a cool style, but also want to have the smaller mini clamshell style as well. So that's where the Win Mini comes into play. And this one has a fairly updated processor. Right, compared to the Win 2, obviously it's a lot more powerful than the Win 2. All right, so let's get on to the unboxing. So yeah, nothing under the box. It's just a very plain white box for this one. Alright, and what we get here is, I like this all white aesthetic so far. That's different. Usually it's like a black box, right? So we get this GPD. I'm guessing this is just the quick start guide thing. Alright, GPD. Obviously it's a Chinese company. And this is the layout of the controls. So we'll get to that later. All the different controls right here. And a bunch of stuff in Chinese. Oh, here's the English portion of it. Yeah, so basically it'll tell you about all the different interfaces and buttons and stuff like that in detail. Charging the device, which is obviously USB-C. And then some keyboard shortcuts, because this is going to be a small keyboard. It's not going to be as big as a GPD Pocket keyboard or a GPD Win Max keyboard, so they're going to have to fit a lot of secondary functions on here. So yeah, specification, warranty card. Okay, cool. So that is just telling you a bit about the device. And this is the device itself. Let's see what else we get. Of course, USB-C to USB-C cable right here. And we get a USB-A to USB-C adapter. I actually was not expecting that, but these are pretty cheap on Amazon anyways. If you guys don't have one, then it's nice that they include it in here. And then this is the charging brick, which is at USB-C. Okay, that's pretty much all that's in the box. It's pretty minimalistic. Let's take a look at the dedicated grip here. Yeah, I'm curious what this is like. Okay, so installation instruction. Remove 2 screws under. Oh, we actually have to. Okay, so we actually do have to do some unscrewing here to install this grip. It's not just like a clip-on grip or something. You got to remove the screws and then insert the supply screws and tighten them with the supplied screwdriver. Oh, they supply you a screwdriver. Okay. Take out the screws provided on the packaging and save the long screw. Okay, so you have to do some screwdriver work, but you know, to me that's pretty simple. And they even give you like a screwdriver too, so in case you don't have the right screwdriver, they'll give you one. And then here are the grips. So these are just like the simple grips that kind of attach to the side of the computer, so that I guess it'll make it more ergonomic to handle and use. So yeah, I was not expecting that to be a screwdriver assembly, but okay. I thought it would just be a clip-on thing, and here are the little screws. They're pretty tiny screws too, back then. Actually, I'm going to need this to install. Alright, so that's a dedicated grip. This was like, I think $30 extra. Yeah, normally this is like $700, right, just the computer on Indiegogo, but this is like an extra $30 for the grip. Alright, so let's take a look. GPD Win Mini. Ooh, I like it already. Yeah, this is a... I mean, actually, just from the appearance of this, it looks more like a GPD Pocket than it does a Win, but... Oh, yeah, okay. Yep, this is exactly what I was looking for, actually, because this is pretty much the exact same keyboard they had on the GPD Win 2. It might be a little bit roomier than the Win 2 though, because the Win 2 I believe was like a bit smaller than this. In fact, although I don't have the Win 2 with me, I do have the GPD Micro PC. So the Micro PC was pretty much the same size as the Win 2. Just I think the Win was a little bit like less length, I guess. So it was like this. Basically, this was the size of the Win 2. So I'm just using the Micro PC right now just to kind of compare what the Win 2 size was like. So yeah, so the Win 2 is roughly like this size up to here. So overall you should get a little bit more space, a little bit more room on the Win Mini's keyboard compared to the Win 2's, because yeah, this is a little bit more has a little bit more length compared to the Win 2. So yeah, that's a good thing, because the Win 2's keyboard was I mean, it was definitely an improvement over the Win 1 keys. The Win 1's keyboard was pretty terrible. It was just like this Bluetooth keyboard that you get from Amazon on it. But the Win 2's keyboard was, yeah, it was a bit cramped for sure. And I'm glad the Win Mini's keyboard, it definitely looks more usable. So yeah, compared to the Win 2's keyboard, I think that this keyboard is a little bit more usable because there's a little bit more space. So yeah, the keys are a little bit more roomier. Other than that, like the layout and everything is very similar to the Win 2. With the power button at the middle here. That's exactly the same as the Win 2. And then the controls up here, this is a huge improvement over the Win 2 actually. Because with the Win 2, you had like these analog sticks weren't that great. They're very shallow. You couldn't move them very well, and then you couldn't click them in. So with the Win Mini, you can actually click it in for L3 and R3. So yeah, these analog sticks, definitely huge improvement over the Win 2's analog sticks. The D-pad, from what I remember, I think this is actually the same D-pad as the GPD Wins. So, I mean the Win 4 and the Win 3. So yeah, this is the Win 4's D-pad. It's pretty much the same. So yeah, I think they just took the Win 3 and Win 4's D-pad and put it on here, which I think was an improvement over the Win 2's. Yeah, the Win 2's I remember was also kind of like a mushy D-pad. Wasn't very good. So yeah, I think this D-pad is definitely another big improvement over the Win 2. The face buttons, actually the Win 2's face buttons were pretty decent. So I don't think that this is a big improvement over the Win 2's face buttons, but they're not worse or anything. They're just as good probably. So yeah, I would say overall the controls. Oh yeah, the shoulder buttons. So actually, if I remember correctly, The Win 2 actually had 3 different buttons on each side. So this one is actually missing one, because I remember the Win 2 actually had a 3rd button here. So this one doesn't have that. However, you do have more space for the shoulder buttons and the trigger buttons as a result. And also, these are actually real trigger buttons here. I believe on the Win 2s, they were just kind of like a clicky thing right here. It wasn't really like a trigger that you can really press down on. So that's an improvement. So they did take away one button here, I guess, on each side to make more room for these 2 buttons here. And that's fine, because I don't think anyone really used that 3rd button on the Win 2 anyways. So you have, yeah, these shoulder buttons overall I think is an improvement, because you have more room to hit the L1 and R1 compared to the Win 2s. And then for the trigger buttons, they're actual trigger buttons. They're not like, they actually go down. Whereas on the Win 2, I think they were just like kind of there that you can just click, but they don't really go down like this. And yeah, that's overall, the controls on the Win Mini are a huge improvement over the Win 2s. Only the face buttons I feel like are sort of the same level, but the rest are a big improvement. The analog sticks are a huge improvement, D-pads are a huge improvement, trigger buttons are a huge improvement, and shoulder buttons, yeah, overall huge improvement. And also you have this trackpad right in the middle here, which is something that you didn't have on the Win 2. So on the Win 2, basically in order to move things around, you had to use the analog stick to move the cursor around. On the Win Mini though, you have this trackpad, which is nice. This is an alternative navigation option that you can use, right, to move the mouse around better. So I'm glad that they put this on here. This is kind of something they took from the GPD Pocket series. So that's pretty cool. And then I guess when it comes to the ports, right, there's nothing on the left side or the right side here. Actually, it's pretty cool. They just put like this kind of leather kind of texture here. So nothing on these sides, but they have a texture. Nothing on the front either. On the bottom here is, yeah, this is pretty similar to what you will find on GPD devices. On GPD's Pocket devices, yeah, this is pretty much all you see. I'll have to do some unscrewing though if I want to put in these grips later. As for the ports, they're all in the back. So this one, you can switch between the mouse mode, mouse and keyboard mode, and the game controller mode. So this is something that was actually on this area. So instead of the trackpad, the GPD Win 2's kind of like switch was right here, and they put it on the back instead on the Win Mini, which is totally fine. I'm okay with that. Headphone jack right here, 2 USB-C ports, and reset actually pinhole right there as well. Okay, so this is a micro SD card slot, and this is a very interesting connector. So it's an Oculink interface. So it features an Oculink female port, which is an SFF8612, providing PCIe 4x4 direct connection with an effective bandwidth of 63 gigabytes a second and throughput up to 7.877 gigabytes a second. So basically, this is a port for graphic expansion port, I think. So it's a, yeah, support for Thunderbolt 3, and it's a USB 4 interface. So yeah, I think this can actually support external graphics cards, I guess. So that's pretty interesting. So this is more like a specialized port, I guess. But that's cool that they added it in, because yeah, they can, this thing, if you want to use an external graphics card or graphics dock, I guess, then you can do that with this. Yeah, this is an interesting port that I've not really seen that much before. So anyways, the sound is also improved as well. Apparently it uses DTS:X Ultra sound effects, and really, like, anything would be an improvement over the GPD Win 2 when it comes to sound. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this was better. And there's a microphone right here. No webcam on this thing, not expecting one. The select buttons right here and start buttons right here. This is also an improvement because it used to be down here, so it used to squish the keyboard more, because the start and select buttons, I believe, were actually down here when it came to the Win 2. So they moved it up here to save more space for the, you know, for the more useful keys, I guess, down here, and then moved it up here. So that I'm in support of that, right? Because you have a wider keyboard, more space for the ones that you'll actually use when you're typing, and the select and start right below the gaming controls, which is where they should be. Menu button, and then you have an L4 and R4 down there. So actually, the third controls right here that was on the Win 2 is actually moved to right here. So these are where the L4 and R4 controls are. And I didn't really use those anyways, but I guess it's cool they didn't actually lose those buttons. They just put it on the inside here. So that's cool. So yeah, they basically just kind of reshuffled some things around to make the keyboard more spacious, and then also give you kind of wider controls on the shoulder and trigger buttons as well. They moved it like down here because these aren't buttons that people will press very often anyways. So yeah, I will note that the GPD Win Mini does not have the full-size USB-A port on the back that the Win 2 has. So if you have a bunch of legacy devices to connect, maybe that might be an issue. I remember I actually did use like USB keys sometimes, and you know, I had the older USB keys that used the USB-A interface. So it was kind of like handy to connect it to my Win 2 sometimes, and this one doesn't have a USB-A port, but you do get two USB-C ports, and they're very fast USB-C ports. This one's USB 4. So yeah, these are very fast ports. This USB 4 interface, in fact, this one has a bandwidth of 40 gigabytes per second and support for Thunderbolt 3. So it can support up to an external 8K display. So yeah, this USB 4 port is pretty good. It can do a lot. So yeah, and then you have the Oculink interface as well, which is something new they added in for the Win Mini. So overall, I think even though it doesn't have the USB-A, you're not starved of ports or anything. The Win Mini still has plenty. Yeah, or you can just connect, you know, a dongle or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it still has more ports compared to a Steam Deck or something like that. So yeah, even though you don't have the USB-A port, I don't think you're exactly starved for ports on the Win Mini, because you still have plenty of ports here, and they're like, you know, really up-to-date modern ports. I mean, this already has more USB-C ports than the Steam Deck does, which is a much bigger device. So yeah, I don't think anyone should complain about lack of ports here. I think there's plenty here. So yeah, overall, I'm very satisfied with the design of this device. Of course, I'm going to boot it up and I'm going to install some games on it and kind of test it. But just from the design of this, I'm very satisfied. They improved the keyboard, they improved the gaming controls and everything, added a trackpad, updated the port selection. So yeah, apparently improved the speakers as well, so that's nice. So yeah, they improved a lot with this device, and they kept it very small, and that's something that the GPD Win 2, right, it was very small and compact, and basically that's kind of what a lot of people wanted, because with the Win 3 and Win 4, it's a really cool design, right, but it got bigger. So you can see that, yeah, I mean, it comes with the built-in grips with the Win 4, but yeah, you can see that the Win 4 is definitely a little bit lengthier, right? So yeah, it's a different type of design. So we wanted to get the smaller clamshell design again. So like something like the Win 2 or the Micro PC had that. So it's cool that the GPD Win Mini does that. And yeah, just for another size comparison, I guess, AN Neo Air Pro, which is a kind of a smaller AN Neo device. It's, well, yeah, it's different, right? You can see that the Air Pro is probably more similar to the Win 4 or Win 3. So yeah. But if you really want to see a size difference, then this is the Steam Deck OLED that I have right now, and this is the size of the Win Mini compared to the Steam Deck OLED, and you can see how much bigger that the Steam Deck OLED is. And if you really want to see a really big size difference, this is the Lenovo Legion Go. And you can see how big the Legion Go is compared to the Win Mini. Wow, it just dwarfs the Win Mini, right? So yeah, that's like a select size comparison here. The Legion Go is just a monster compared to these other smaller devices. And yeah, I mean, the Legion Go is so big, it even makes the Steam Deck look kind of like portable, I guess. Yeah, I mean, obviously out of here, the most compact ones, the Win Mini and the Micro PC. The Micro PC is especially tiny. Yeah, the Micro PC is still the smallest. I mean, look at that, right? Just, so I keep it around. Such a cute little thing. It has so many ports too. 9 ports on this thing, and they even put a serial port on it. That's what's really cool about the Micro PC. But yeah, I'm really satisfied with the design of the Win Mini. I think GPD has really hit it out of the park for this one. They really addressed everything. Like, people just wanted a better updated GPD Win 2, and that's exactly what they gave us here. So now I'm gonna put the grips on, And yeah, I'm gonna fit the grips on, and then I'm gonna install some games on it, and then we're gonna test it out and see how it compares to the other gaming handhelds that I have. So I just want to mention that the GPD Win Mini, there's two different configurations. This is the cheaper version. This one is the Ryzen 5 7640U CPU paired with the Radeon 760M GPU and with 16 gigs of RAM. The higher tier version comes with a Ryzen 7 7840U CPU with a 780M GPU and 32 gigs of RAM. So I got the cheaper version because I already have other handhelds that can play more demanding titles like the Steam Deck OLED, the Lenovo Legion Go, and GPD Win 4. So yeah, that's why in this video the GPD Win Mini is not as performant as the GPD Win 4. It's because I got the lower tiered version. That does not mean that it can't be as performant as the Win 4. It can be if you get the higher tier version. So yeah. Just want to make that clear. If you want the more powerful GPD Win Mini, it definitely can match up to the GPD Win 4 in performance. Alright, so now I have the GPD Win Mini up and running, and I also got the grips installed. So it's pretty easy to install them. Basically, there's like left and right screws right here. You just unscrew those and then put the grips on, and then they have longer screws which you use to screw these back on. Basically a total of 4 screws to screw on and 2 screws to unscrew, so not that big of a task. They give you the screw to unscrew them anyway, so you always have the right size screwdriver. But yeah, first thing I have to note though is this really does look kind of like a converted GPD Pocket. So just to do another size comparison, guys, I do have my GPD Pocket 3 here as well. So here it is, the GPD Pocket 3, and you can tell like how much the styling is similar, right? Like basically the lid and everything. If you didn't know any better, if I didn't have the grips on here, yeah, it would look pretty similar to the GPD Pocket, which is a netbook, right? So GPD Pocket is not meant to be a gaming device really. It's meant to be just like a netbook or a mini laptop essentially. Although I use this one as a gaming device as well. I use it mostly to play visual novels and point and click adventures because, well, actually this thing is a convertible, right? So it flips around to become a tablet. And in this form factor, it's actually really nice to play visual novels because you don't really need to have gaming controls to play visual novels. You basically just tap, 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 make some decisions and stuff. And then for point and click adventures, it's actually a nice format too because you have this trackpad here in the left and right clicks, so it's easy to make clicking, to move the mouse cursor and click something. So that's nice for point and clicks as well. So I do use this as kind of like a gaming laptop, but it's not really meant to be the same kind of gaming machine the Win Mini is, because this is more like just like a shorter, smaller version of the Win Max, and that one is basically. The Win Max is basically the Pocket with gaming controls, right? So the Win Mini essentially is kind of like a GPD Pocket 2 because the Pocket 2 is like smaller with gaming controls. So yeah, superficially it does take in, like, I think GPD just has more of a coherent design language now. So they try to make all their devices kind of have this kind of aesthetic. But yeah, definitely these come from kind of the same line as compared to the GPD Win 4, for example, which looks more like an AN Neo or One X player type of device. Although GPD came out with this first, I have to, admit that AN Neo and One X player, those actually came out later. GPD actually came out with these types of devices first. So you can kind of see that GPD has now solidified their design language. I mean, they've come a long way from the first GPD Win and the first GPD Pocket. I remember unboxing those back in 2016, and when they were pretty rough back then, but for reviving the UMPC industry, I have to give props to GPD for that. They were like pretty much the first of the Chinese makers to do that. And then One Mix, One Netbook and AN Neo and all these other guys came after. Chewy, I think, is another one, but GPD really was like kind of the first one of these Chinese mini laptop or UMPC makers to really bring it back, like bringing back this form factor, which is nice. So yeah, even though the first GPD Win and first GPD Pocket were kind of rough, but they needed to start somewhere to bring it back. So I'm happy that they did. So yeah, they have kind of more of a uniform design language here. then the GPD Win 4, which looks more like the AN Neo devices or like one of the 1X player devices. But I like the GPD Win 4 better because it has this nice built-in keyboard slide, which by the way AN Neo is now copying as well. They call it the AN Neo slide, which is like basically copying GPD Win 3 and Win 4, which is actually copying the Sony Vaio UX. But anyways, the size comparison, right? You can tell they're different form factor here, and then the smaller PS Vita right here. This is the Vita Slim. Still not quite as small and compact as the Vita Slim. The Vita Slim being really extremely compact as a handheld. So anyways, let's get on look at the device. I do have one minor complaint, which is that this screen here, it's easy for this screen to kind of see, like when you have these grips on, these grips do not stabilize the device very well, so they actually lose the center of gravity once you put these grips on. So just be aware of that. You add on these grips onto the device, and then this trackpad and the lid definitely, it just attracts fingerprints like a magnet. But yeah, just be aware, once you put the grips on, it kind of loses the center of gravity. So like you just tilt it more this way, like it just kind of falls over like that. So just be aware of that. The grips basically just completely unbalance the device. I mean, I just kind of had to be like this. This is like kind of the edge where it will be able to stand up. There's no biometrics on the Win Mini, unfortunately. So yeah, that's one minor complaint as well. There's no fingerprint sensor, there's no webcam here, so I can't do Windows Hello. But yeah, I have a bunch of games installed now. So I think the one I usually go to is God of War, which is kind of my benchmark game. So yeah, this one, kind of my benchmark game, and we'll see how this performs, because this is the game that I actually tried out on basically all the gaming handhelds I've owned before. Oh man, okay, like the Steam Deck, AN Neo, the Asus ROG Ally, and then by extension the Legion Go, because it runs the same. Okay, I'm going to use God of War as a benchmark to test out the GPD Win Mini, because this is the game I've used for pretty much every other gaming handheld I've reviewed. So yeah, everything from the Steam Deck, the AN Neo, the GPD Win 4, the Asus ROG Ally, and by extension the Legion Go, because it uses the same chip. Yeah, those have all been benchmarked against God of War, so I figured, might as well do that here as well. So yeah, here's the GPD Win Mini running God of War. Switch it to gamepad mode, so on the back, switch that. Okay, now should be able to use the gamepad here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so right now 1080p high settings is running at 20 to 25 frames per second right here. So definitely not that great. It's not super playable. Of course, I am running it at the full native resolution. So yeah, and I am expecting this to be less powerful than the Win 4, because yeah, the Win 4 was able to run this, I think, around 30 FPS at full HD resolution. Yeah, and then we're in combat too, so it's going to get heavier here. Yeah, purposely not trying to, I'm not focusing on the game too much, but yeah, definitely around 20 FPS, 20 to 21 FPS right now. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, that is performance on full HD. So I'm gonna dial it back down to 720, see how well it performs. So here, let's see where to get my options menu. Maybe that's what. Nope. Oh, okay. This is like a. Oh, this is like a gaming menu here. When you press this menu button, in the game. It's like this overlay. So I think this is something that's specific to FiO. Maybe similar to what yeah, the Asus ROG Ally Legion Space does, or the ROG Armory, something similar with this file menu right here. Oh man, okay. Okay, here we go. I'm going to change my display to windowed, and I'm going to dial it back down, I think. Can we? Seems like I can't dial it down, actually. Huh. We got DLSS not supported, of course. What? How come I can't dial it down? Even in windowed mode? Oh, that's unfortunate. Even in windowed mode, I can't dial it down. 16:10, 16:9. Yeah, I mean, it's a 16:10 ratio. That's what the GPD Win Mini display is. It's a 1920 by 1200. But that's weird that I can't dial it down to 720. I'm like stuck here. Okay. Well, that sucks. I guess I can't do like a straight comparison then, because I can't dial this down to 720. It's kind of stuck around 1080, and for some reason, like it's kind of like not grayed out or anything. So it's like I can change it, but it's not letting me. So yeah, it's like almost like there is an option to change it, but it's not letting me. That's really weird. Okay, so yeah, borderless, I can't change it. So borderless is actually grayed out. Windowed, it's almost like I can change it, but it doesn't let me change it. So that's unfortunate. Okay, that sucks. So I guess we don't know actually how it would run in 720. Okay, I was hoping to do like a nice direct benchmark, but it looks like the only resolution we can run at is 1080, and this machine cannot run God of War well at 1080. It just, yeah, can't even break 25 FPS. So yeah, I mean, it's about 5 FPS less performant than the Win 4, I would say. Because I ran the Win 4 at 1080p on God of War. It's got about 30 FPS. And then it gets about 35 FPS to 40 when you bump it up to 720. So I'm guessing on average the Win Mini will run about 5 FPS lower than the Win 4, which is what I expect because it's not as powerful as the Win 4. But yeah, anyways, that's God of War. The Win Mini can not run it at full HD resolution, but I'm guessing it will be a little bit better at 720 maybe. It's hard to test it with, but I'm guessing it will be near playable at 720. It's just that at full HD you can't really play it well. So yeah, definitely not as powerful as the Win 4, but more powerful than my Neo Air Pro, because that's not really a powerful console either. Less powerful than the Win Mini. So getting about, still not even 30 FPS, come on. It's still below 30 FPS, still like the high 20s here. Man, that's disappointing. That is really disappointing. Not even 30 FPS, and I'm at lower resolution now, I'm at 800. What the heck? I mean, we're in the middle of combat, but still, that's disappointing. So it might push 30 like it is right now. Yeah, and I'm not being serious about playing this game, by the way. That's why I'm not doing good well right now. Not being serious about it. I'm just trying to test the performance, and it's disappointing, man. Okay, now it went up to 35, but come on, I'm at 800p. Not even full screen here. Give me better performance than that. Yeah, that's disappointing. Okay, so getting about 30, it says 32. Okay, 36. 34, okay. So roughly about 35. I would say 35 FPS, which is really the same as the deck, I would say. In deck, it gets pretty similar performance, and you get about, yeah, about 35 FPS on 720p on high settings, I believe. And then on the GPD Win 4, you can see it gets better performance than on the deck or Ally. So you get about 40 FPS on the same setting, 720p on high. Alright, now I'm playing Mass Effect Andromeda on the GPD Win Mini. Let's check this game out. I haven't played this game for a while. See how well this game runs. I remember the graphics in this game actually being pretty good, even though it didn't get very good reception when it first came out. They definitely patched up a lot of things in this game, and the graphics are actually pretty good in this game. Okay, so this is Mass Effect Andromeda. It's running at medium settings right now, but it looks pretty good still. Getting about 50 FPS right now. What if I, let's see, up the graphics even more? So let's see. Settings. So yeah, right now video output is actually HDR VSync. That's all on. HDR is on. Didn't know the screen supports HDR. It's cool. And then yeah, let's see if we turn this overall quality up to high. Let's see what happens. Okay. Well, anyways, let's play on these settings. They're already pretty good. Okay. High settings, it goes down, drops down to around 30. Oh, that really does take a huge frame rate drop. It looks pretty good though. Yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda looks pretty good. Getting about 35 FPS, 30 to 35 FPS on high settings. Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah, actually looks pretty good. Let's see the surface of the planet here. Looks nice.
This is Nexus Control to Hyperion. It's good to have you here.
Choice do we have? How the hell should I know?
Let's go over the docking checklist,
Spender,
shall we?
you have a job. If you want to keep it, do it. All right, what happened?
To who?
To whom? And your goddamn father. Sorry, my face is tired from dealing with everything. And right now, I just want to know what happened with Alec.
In the moment, it saved my life. But it seems my father meant for me to get the role eventually.
It isn't hereditary. If we wanted an inbred monarchy, we could have left half our gene stock back home. Not home. The Milky Way. This is home. This mess. We don't have a lot of options, Ryder. Maybe you'll prove your father right. After 14 months of failed colonization, forgive me if I don't hold my breath.
How do you fit into the Nexus leadership?
I oversee the actual settlement effort. As the number of outposts is currently less than ideal, my influence is limited. As Tan is quick to remind me. Left a perfectly adequate career as a chief officer. Provincial capital, too. Only a new galaxy could pull me away. And here we are, idling.
There's also the strange technology. Has anyone studied that?
We've tried. Not me. The brains in research. They're supposed to know their business. The current excuse? The tech we dug up on Mars was more advanced, but it was plug and go. The tech here thinks different? I don't know. We've mostly avoided it. And from what the Hyperion logs say about Alec, maybe that's good.
You called my father Alec. No one does that.
A lot of us joined the initiative because of his vision. What he shared of it, anyway.
Were you friends? Or...
I'm not your new mother, if that's what you're asking. Or his friend. He hated that I didn't use his title. But no one's a pathfinder until they've path-found something. Much like a colonial director without colonies.
Excuse me, Director Addison.
Ryder?
It's Pathfinder.
Ryder, we're starving here. If we don't get a foundation of outposts to feed the initiative, we might as well be 600 years dead. Alec promised a lot. None of it panned out. That's what you're up against. Why people won't trust you. Why I don't trust you. Prove me wrong.
Okay. I have to say that this is on full volume. I have to say the speakers are okay for a device of this size. They're pretty decent. In terms of my handheld gaming devices, probably about the same as the GPD Win 4 maybe in terms of the sound quality. It's still below the ROG Ally and the new Steam Deck OLED. The new Steam Deck OLED definitely has the best speakers out of all the gaming handhelds I have. But yeah, I would probably say on par with probably the Nintendo Switch OLED and the GPD Win 4. A little bit below the Asus ROG Ally. Still better than the Legion Go, because the Legion Go speakers suck. And a little bit better than the Neo Air Pro I have. So that's probably where it sits. Yeah, in between, I would say definitely still better than Legion Go, but yeah, in the original Steam Deck, I think it's a little bit... Actually, the original Steam Deck's pretty good. I think it's probably on par with the original Steam Deck. Yeah, definitely not as good as the Steam Deck OLED or the... I think the Asus ROG Ally is a little bit better than this, but yeah, I think that's probably where it's at, and about par with the original Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch OLED. So yeah, that's judging from the handhelds that I own. So yeah, speakers, I say it's pretty decent for this kind of device. It is a small device after all, so it's not going to compete with bigger devices, but yeah, probably if you're into Nintendo Switch OLED speakers, then it's probably around the same level as that. So yeah, don't expect too loud, but it's okay for what it is, for the size. So anyways, this is a Mass Effect Andromeda running about 30-35 FPS on high quality at full HD. By the way, this is full HD resolution, so that's actually not too bad. I mean, this is not a bad looking game at all. It even has HDR effects and stuff like that. So yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah, it runs pretty good actually on the Win Mini. So this is Tales of Berseria on the GPD Win Mini, and while this is not like a super demanding game or anything, it's still not like a small game either. I'm going to turn, yeah, everything is up to high, except for anti-aliasing. Nice, and we can continue here. Okay. Just see how the controls work and everything. Yeah, everything's on high settings on 1080p. It runs really well. I mean, I'm not going to say JRPGs are really that demanding in terms of graphical power, but yeah, 60 frames per second, very solid. Everything's set to high on 1080p. Yeah, JRPGs like Tales of Berseria, very, very playable on the GPD Win Mini. Nice. See if we can get into combat somewhere. Here.
村のすぐ襲われたら逃げる。
心配。
ああさ、大麻。
ちょっと。
本物。
それは。
所詮が。
それを。
ああ、それが。
Let's see. Oh man, the heck can I go over here? Oh man, I can't even go over there to do battle. Can't even fight any monsters right now. At least it looks, this game looks pretty good. It was originally released in 2016, and it's a JRPG, so it's very anime-ish, but it still looks pretty good. yeah, anyways, Tales of Berseria runs really well here. 60 FPS, very solid. Cool. Right, so now I'm playing Rage on the GPD Win Mini. This is a first-person open-world post-apocalyptic game released in 2011. But the graphics are actually still pretty good in this game, still kind of holds up to this day. And this is on the high settings on 1080p, running at 60 frames a second. Now this game doesn't exactly support the controller very well. I'm actually having to set it on the keyboard and mouse mode in order to control it. Yeah. Because the controller input does not work too well in this game, unfortunately. Okay, I'm going.
It ain't safe here. Get in. I know you got
It's like the beginning of
questions, but we
Borderlands.
gotta get moving.
So this game graphically is a little bit more realistic looking than Borderlands. It has a similar setting to Borderlands, but it's more realistic looking.
Let's get
But
going.
look, it even has like the bobblehead and stuff. That's the same. It's actually a Doom Guy bobblehead too.
I'm Dan Hager.
Yeah,
and
it's
you,
basically
one lucky son
id
of a
Software's
bitch.
version of Borderlands.
You know, our
Essentially,
survivors are worth a
their
lot
take
of
on
money
something
to whoever hands them over to the
post-apocalyptic.
authority. Wait, you don't even know the authority yet. Well, I guess you don't know anything about any of this. Welcome. Hold on. Got bandits.
Okay. Bandits.
Damn shame you're still wearing that arc suit. It's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, literally just woke up from hibernation.
Pretty much their world out here. Probably looking
I mean,
for their
after I switched to
buddies.
mouse and keyboard, for some reason, the
Now we
controls
both
are
got
actually
a problem.
better. But if I turn it to controller mode, it doesn't work at all.
We need to get to my place. Once they see what I've done, they'll be coming for blood. And for you. I've got a plan that might get us both out of this mess.
Or get us both killed.
Here we are. Home sweet home. We need to talk. Get out of the buggy.
Actually, this
Go on,
particular
this way.
game would work pretty well on the Win Mini compared to other handheld gaming consoles, because this one actually has a physical keyboard. And yeah, since this game only works in mouse and keyboard mode and doesn't really work with controller input, you kind of need to have a physical keyboard here to play this game. It's nice that the Win Mini has a
I put a lot at risk.
pretty easy to
save
hit
you.
actually when it comes
Not
to
just
some of
my
these.
life, but the lives of everyone here. I survived this long by staying out of trouble. Saving you may have changed all that.
Okay.
So here's what I need you to do.
See, so
Head to
easy to
where
hit
those
that E
bandits
from here.
live.
So I'm glad that the Win Mini has a
Plain and simple.
nice keyboard input too. For those games that don't work well with controller input, then the Win Mini is a pretty good choice, because yeah, the keyboard is pretty easy to hit from even from here. So good for games that only work with mouse and keyboard mode.
Come back alive and I'll dig up some
Then
armor.
you can use the
that'll fit
trackpad
over
for
that
stuff
arc
like
suit
this.
you're wearing. We got a deal? One more thing. Those bandits shouldn't be too hard to take down. Not for you. I hear there's something special about you Ark people.
It's a first-person shooter, so yeah. Tab, the tab's easy to hit from here too. Nice, and then I think I can even use. Can I use the touchscreen? Nope. Your touchscreen doesn't work here. Okay, fine. Just have to do this. Okay, otherwise, ooh, D-pad actually does something. It switches weapons. Nice. Can I not go outside yet? No, I guess I can't. But anyways, Rage sort of works. I mean, it works in mouse and keyboard mode for some reason. It doesn't work in the regular controller mode. But yeah. Otherwise, triggers and everything work the way that you expect. D-pad does something, switches the weapons, even L3 jumps. So actually it's weird because in mouse and keyboard mode, it's almost like most of the controllers actually work as the way that you would expect, except for like the keys on the screen are all going to be referencing keys on the keyboard, which is actually fine because in this layout it's actually easy to press the keys. So like E, for example, I can just go like this. Tab, I go like this. Well, spacebar is not easy to hit, but anyway, some of the ones are not mapped to a particular button. Those are the ones like, yeah, these space buttons don't do anything. But yeah, at least the ones that are not mapped to a button, they're relatively still easy to hit from here, those particular keys. So yeah, I would say this works pretty well with Rage compared to other gaming handhelds. Other gaming handhelds with Rage, if they don't work with a controller input, you're pretty much done. Because yeah, something like the RG Ally, for example, or Steam Deck, they have no physical keyboard. So you have to use a virtual keyboard to do those things. That's going to be pretty tough. So yeah, GPD Win Mini actually works well for games like this that don't fully work with the controller inputs. Switching up genres here into a racing game. This is Kanagawa Jet Girls, a game that came out in 2020 actually. But it's an anime style game, so it doesn't require too much graphical power, but still, just want to check out this different genre here. Story mode. And yeah, for an anime game, it's still like nice looking and everything. Nice chill game to play. Let's just do. Actually, I just want to do a race. Yeah, here we go. Sure. Do it. And it is more comfortable with the grip too. Just letting you guys know. If you're gonna be playing it like this for a long periods of time, definitely the grip is worth it. More ergonomic and comfortable for sure. Because if you don't have the grip, your hand's just gonna be around the edge of the computer the whole time. It's not gonna be as comfortable. So having this grip definitely helps for ergonomics. Oh, there we go. Trigger. Yeah, 45 FPS, okay. So it's not like, it is sort of demanding, right, in a sense. It's like, yeah, that went down to like 30s. But it'll stay in the 40s and 50s. It'll mostly average around the 40s for me in this game. Just because this game does have some speed to it, so. Nice. Yeah. Okay. I'll select, or to go back from here. Oh, it's a replay, I see. Alright, so yeah, I just wanted to do something quick there. Kanagawa Chat Girls, just to show a different genre. Works pretty well on the GPD Win Mini. This is Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters. It's actually a pretty recent game, but of course, because it's an anime game, it shouldn't require too much power to play. Just want to see how well it runs it anyways. Okay, nice. So you got your typical JRPG anime characters. Runs really well. Actually not at a full 60. It's at about 45 FPS right now. Yeah, 45 FPS. It is on high settings, you know, 1080p or whatever. Because it's JRPGs don't really require too much to run. Let's see, combat. Yeah. I mean, any JRPG should run fine, right? They don't require too much. And yeah, Neptunia Sister vs. Sisters, no exception here. It runs at a solid 45-50 FPS here, even on the higher settings. So it should be no problem. This thing should be like a nice JRPG gaming machine. No problem. Oh my god. Hey, that's Itai. That hurts. Don't do that. There we go, finally. Anyways, yeah, Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters. Typical JRPG, runs pretty well on the GPD Win Mini. Now we check out Scarlet Nexus, which is a JRPG that's actually a little bit more demanding. It is one of the more demanding JRPGs. Even though it's still a JRPG though, so it's still not like super demanding or anything, but it's gonna be more demanding than Neptunia. So let's check it out. And this is yeah, it's an action JRPG. Yeah, so see the graphics are, yeah, they're a little bit better, right? It's just on another level compared to Neptunia. Yeah, still keeps the anime look, of course, but and still not up to like Final Fantasy levels or anything like that. But still, the graphics are definitely a step up, I would say, from Neptunia. So pretty good. Let's check out. Do some battling here right now. Running at about 45 FPS right now. So yeah, roughly similar, I would say, to Neptunia. It's on high settings at 1080. Still runs it really well, of course. The controls work fine. God damn take that. There we go. Take that guy and this guy. Dips down to around the 30s in combat, but otherwise pretty steady. Oh no, this guy's shit. Powerful. Oh my god. Oh, this guy's tough. This guy's tough. Take that. Alright. Yeah, so that's a bit of gameplay from Scarlet Nexus. Runs fairly well. 40s. Yeah, that's what you get in this game. So pretty nice. Okay, so this is Hi-Fi Rush running on the GPD Win Mini. Also not like too graphically intensive of a game, but I would say it's also not as low demanding as like a typical indie game either. It's not really an indie game anyways. It's actually published by Bethesda. But yeah, anyways, this one has the style of an indie game. But yeah, I would say it's fairly like medium demanding type of game. So let's check this out. Oh, let's rewards. Okay. Yeah, so even though it's got this nice cell shaded graphical quality to it, there are moments where it gets a little bit more demanding at times as well. Yeah, I don't actually have the FPS counter in this one, interestingly enough. I don't think it likes fraps, that's why. Let's see. Training room.
I want to give some of your new moves a run through. Don't want you to explode or anything.
Wait, what?
Just kidding. I can set up a training room. Let me know when you're...
Okay, let's just do some practice battling here. Cool. Everything works well. I mean, it seems to be running pretty smoothly, for sure. It's not struggling or anything to run this, so that's good. So I would say this is about as demanding as Scarlet Nexus, maybe. Actually, Scarlet Nexus does look a little bit more impressive visually, but still, I think probably around the same level as Neptunia. Then, yeah. Yeah, I would say the demands for this game probably in between Neptunia and Scarlet Nexus. Nice, I like the rhythm action in this game. Ooh. Yeah, it's a nice twist on a hack and slash for sure. It's like Devil May Cry if you fused it with a rhythm game. Basically, it's pretty cool. Alright, anyways, Hi-Fi Rush runs pretty well on the GPD Win Mini. I mean, definitely not the most graphically demanding game, but it's more demanding than a typical indie game, I'd say. But yeah, I would say this game is the one I use for mostly for, I guess indie games. I use the Neo Air Pro mostly for those. Like for the very low demanding indie games, I use that. This one for the more demanding indie games and the JRPGs and that level of graphical requirement, I would probably use the GPD Win Mini for this one. And then if it gets more demanding, then I have my GPD Win 4. And if it gets more demanding than that, then I have the that's what I have the Lenovo Legion Go for. So yeah, I pretty much got all my tiers covered. The Win Mini, this one I use for games like this, of this tier, right? So like not the least demanding, not like a retro 2D indie style game. Those are like for my Neo Air Pro. Those are not demanding at all, but at the same time, not too demanding either. So not like yeah, God of War doesn't run too well in this, for example. And then yeah, your newer modern AAA type titles, I probably would not run on this either. So just games in between, I guess, indie and AAA. Modern AAA, I mean, I'd probably put on this game. So like Hi-Fi Rush is a good example of the type of games I would probably play on the Win Mini. Not too demanding, but definitely more demanding than a typical 2D indie platformer. So anyways, it's Hi-Fi Rush running on Win Mini, and it runs these type of games fantastically. So yep, that's probably what I'll use this console for, is to get those in-between games. That's not fully AAA, but at the same time, not like a fully indie game title either, or not like a full, not like one of those really retro indie titles that really don't require much to run. This one's a little bit more than that. So yeah, that's probably the type of games I'll put on here. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, Hi-Fi Rush definitely runs pretty well, and let me know what type of games you guys would like to run on this machine. But for me, this is probably the level of game I would put on here. It's not too demanding, but at the same time, it is enough for this console to run. But yeah, games like Hi-Fi Rush, this is the type of games I would put on here. Games that are not too graphically demanding, where it kind of stresses out the console too much, but again, at the same time, it's not exactly like a 2D retro indie style game that doesn't require anything to run at all. So it's not that level either. So it's just somewhere in between. Like a decently demanding title. Not very demanding, but decently demanding. So yep, that's the type of games I would put on here. Okay, this is Anno Mutationem on the GPD Win Mini. Believe it or not, even though this is an indie game, it's actually fairly demanding. So yeah, it's done in sort of an indie style, right, with the retro pixelated graphics, but it's also got, it's sort of like a 3D retro, say, like as you guys can see here. It's not exactly just a 2D version, it's like a 3D using pixelated sprites, which is pretty interesting. And the graphics are actually quite nice. So if we look here, full screen, 1080, VSync on, graphics setting high, right? Running at 70 actually FPS, so it does pretty well, as you would expect for indie games. But this is actually one of the more demanding indie games that I played before. Yeah, right here. Yeah, so like the graphics are actually really nice for this indie game actually. Not just because of the style, but like actually the way they did this. Like look at this, the cyberpunk type of atmosphere here, done with this pixelated style, is really nice. Controls work as you would expect. Turn on, yeah, turn down the shades here and turn on the shades. Nice. Can change my clothes, I think. Yeah, here we go. Change my outfit here. Let's pick this one. The office lady outfit. Nice. Check my email. Yep, that all works. Use the D-pad for that. Cool. Shower. Nice. Look like that. You can overhear the conversation. Yeah. Yeah, even though this is an indie game, it's one of the more demanding indie games I found, but it still runs really well on the Win Mini. Right, 70, 80 FPS right now. Pretty nice. So, yeah, and actually this is definitely one of the indie games I found with most beautiful retro graphics. Like this one, a few others, right? But this one definitely has some really nice retro graphics for an indie game. So yeah, Animal Mutation M runs really well on the Win Mini. And some pretty underrated game people should take a look at, honestly. Not a lot of people really play this game, but I really like it. Especially the atmosphere. Go down.
Hi, honey.
Miss my voice already? Oh, you.
I was just, testing this thing.
Alright. I've got something more important to attend to.
Like what?
Don't worry. You'll see.
Despite the current situation,
Yeah, I guess switch channels on TV. That's cool. Even things like that you can do on this game.
It's rich protein, carbohydrates, organic acids, cellulose, and a number of essential vitamins. The taste has also been widely acclaimed within the compound food category.
Another missing persons case was reported today. In sharp contrast to Noctis Police's response, despite the current situation, SCOP is holding a weapon module convention.
It's cool they have so many channels. Nice. Anyways, Animal Mutation M runs really well on GPD Win Mini, as you'd expect. Pretty cool. It's nice, obviously a nice gaming machine for indie games too. So yeah, that's it, guys. I highly recommend the Win Mini. It's just another really cool, unique gaming handheld from GPD. So yeah, and you won't be seeing many of the big manufacturers make something like this, of course. They'll be making stuff to compete more with the Steam Deck. So this is definitely something that's, again, unique to GPD. So guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.